coming up on Sports Night.
The Cats Classic takes to Wrigley Field for the 4th straight year.
Softball, playing for the Big Ten tournament. They're trying to stay in it.
And lacrosse barrels towards the start of the NCAA tournament, set to commence in less than 24 hours.
With postseason action heating up for NU teams, we have a lot going on in the studio, Matt.
Indeed we do. It comes with a lot of pressure, but you know the saying, Sammy. Pressure is a privilege, and we live for the pressure here at Sports Night. We're built for the moment.
We are built for the moment indeed. 25 weeks down, 5 to go. The best is yet to come on Sports Night right now.
Championship season has arrived and Sports Night is ready to take the podium. He's Sammy Krimstein. I'm Matt Campbell. Call us the Crunch Time Corps because we are getting into some playoff proceedings.
Crunch time is right, Matt. NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs going on right now. And of course, NU teams getting into crunch time as well. One of those teams is baseball. Heading into the last few weeks of the regular season, they dropped 10 straight conference matchups heading into play this past weekend. Northwestern played host to Indiana, this one kicking off at Wrigley Field for the Cats Classic under the Friday night lights in Chicago. Big Ten tournament hopes on the line for both teams. Let's see how they fared. Top of the third inning, Indiana on a heater, and now it's Landon Fry out to left center. That ball will drop. Wildcats will not catch the Hoosiers. Fry helps Indiana take a 5-0 lead with an RBI double. For Northwestern, bottom of the 7th, it's Noah Ruiz sending one to left. Northwestern's only runs of the night. Cats cannot assemble a comeback in game 1, eventually falling 9-2. Things will head back to Evanston on Saturday. Kucherak, bases loaded, swings one far down the left field line. Indiana not able to track it down. Wildcats will take advantage. We're all tied up 3 apiece, bottom of the 3rd inning. Jack Lausch now looking to take the lead for Northwestern. The pitch, and he blasts it to right field. Northwestern goes in front. Cats go up by 2 runs. Cats 7-4. The final, they take game 2, force a rubber match against Indiana to close things out. Instead, it's Kucherak here drawing a nice throw to second base, and it will be 7-4 the final for Northwestern. Now to game 3, Jack Lausch just stays hot, sending one far from the reach of the right fielder. Banging it off of Welsh Ryan Arena, Northwestern taking a 4-1 lead, bottom of the 2nd. Still in the bottom of the 2nd, it's Ruiz looking to do the same thing. He hits one connecting to left, blasting it over the wall in left field for a 2-run homer. Things closing out in the bottom of the 8th. Now here's Nick Barron blasting it out to left field. This one out of Miller Park. The Wildcats will win 9-6. Northwestern secures its 2nd conference series and looks to carry the momentum into the final stretch of the regular season.
2 consecutive wins at home, but Tuesday, the Cats hosted red-hot Illinois State, riding an 8-game win streak. How would the Cats rise to the challenge? Well, that's how. Jack Lausch smokes a 2-run shot into the right center field gap and over the wall. Northwestern seizes the lead just 8 pitches into this contest. The center fielder got all of this one. Take another look. Bang! Homers in 3 straight contests for him. And just an inning later, Cats back for more. How about some OMAC Jacks for dinner, folks? You could go find one out there on Boo Booey Boulevard. Say goodbye. Wildcats go on to win 7-1, finding their footing at a crucial point in time. Here's head coach Ben Greenspan with more on his team's recent momentum.
It's hard when you go, you put so much effort into it, you put so much time into it, and things don't go your way. That can be difficult on the mind. I think this group deserves success for how hard they've worked, and I think some of that was realized last weekend. So I think it can be motivating when you win and you beat a quality opponent. And I know Indiana's had a tough year, but it's one of the best programs in the Big Ten, in my opinion. And so anytime you take 2 or 3 from the Hoosiers, that's a good weekend.
Northwestern, winners of 3 straight, finally heating up at the right time. But is it enough for them to sneak into the Big Ten tournament? What do you think, Sammy?
Well, Matt, it's going to be close. Northwestern out looking in right now, but I'll tell you this, there is a chance for Northwestern to appear in the Big Ten tournament. I'm here to break it all down for you. So right here, you got the Big Ten standings. Here's Northwestern. They're in 14th place. The line to make the tournament, it's right here. 12 teams make it. There we go. Rutgers at 9-15. That's who Northwestern is going to have to catch. Cats will have to surpass 2 teams to make the tournament. The good news this weekend was big for Northwestern. They grabbed the tiebreaker over Indiana. They're tied, so Northwestern, they get that tiebreaker with them. And then if Northwestern can catch up to Michigan State, they won the series against them earlier in the year, and that will be a tiebreaker Northwestern has over Michigan State. Upcoming schedule for Northwestern, Illinois and Rutgers. And this is good news for the Cats because these are 2 teams that they are trying to catch in the conference standings, and very much 2 winnable series for Northwestern. If they can sweep both of those series, if they can win out, Northwestern will be in the Big Ten tournament. So they control their own destiny. 6 wins and you're in for Northwestern. Another look at the standings, and for Northwestern, there's a chance they can get all the way up to the 8th seed in the conference. Right now, Iowa, as you see right over there, they hold that number 8 seed in the Big Ten Conference. Northwestern can catch them if this very specific set of scenarios happens. Northwestern, they're going to have to win out to catch up to that number 8 seed. Iowa will have to lose out. That allows Northwestern to catch up to Iowa. Then Northwestern will also have to catch up to these 2 squads. That is Washington, that is Minnesota. They will have to go 2-4 or worse for Northwestern to catch up to them. So in that scenario, Northwestern not only is in the tournament, but they are the number 8 team in the tournament. The non-starter for Northwestern, though, they're going to need 3 or more wins. Now, if they get 3 wins, they will need quite a lot of help. This is, as I'm looking at it, the most realistic path for Northwestern to make the Big Ten tournament by winning just 3 games. So you can afford to lose the series against Illinois this upcoming weekend. That's coming up next. You can afford to lose that series. For Northwestern, you really want to win at least 1 game, and that's if, of course, you can win the series against Rutgers. You don't have to sweep. You have to win the series, though. Northwestern certainly will have to win one of these 2 series. And then not only Northwestern, these things have to happen, but you have to look at these other teams as well. Michigan State, they need to get swept by Ohio State. That will give Northwestern the tiebreaker and get them over Michigan State in the standings. Indiana, who Northwestern also has a tiebreaker with, they will have to go 3-3 or worse in the rest of their conference schedule. And then these 2 teams who are below Northwestern, Maryland and Penn State, they're going to have to go 2-4 or worse. If that happens, guess what? Northwestern is in the Big Ten tournament. Another look at the standings for Northwestern, and Rutgers is the big series. Rutgers is the one that Northwestern will really want to take, but Illinois will be huge as well this weekend. If Northwestern can sweep Illinois, so that's right here, that's this weekend, they put themselves in a very good position. If they can do that, now fast forward to the next weekend. Illinois will have to win less games than Northwestern. And, once again, Michigan State will have to get swept. All of those things have to happen. If Northwestern sweeps Illinois, they make the Big Ten tournament. So if you're a Northwestern baseball fan, you don't know what to watch, I got you covered. Here is what you need to keep an eye on. Of course, rooting for the Cats, as always. You need Northwestern to win as much as possible. That will, of course, help their case. They do control their destiny. 6 wins, and you're in for Northwestern with these last few games. This series here, as we mentioned, Ohio State playing Michigan State. You need Ohio State to win that series. Preferably a sweep for Northwestern, but that's not the end-all, be-all. In this series, rooting for Maryland because Northwestern chasing Rutgers right now. You need them to lose. This series here, Illinois and Indiana next weekend, could be a toss-up. It depends on what happens. 2 teams Northwestern is pretty close with. And in this series, you need Maryland to win this weekend. Next weekend, then, you'll need Penn State to win to help you out and keep them below Northwestern in the standings. If all those things happen, Northwestern could make the Big Ten tournament. Once again, they sit in 14th place as we speak. They're trying to get up to 12. 12 teams make the Big Ten tournament. So, Matt, to answer your question, a lot of things have to happen. Northwestern has to win some games, but there is a chance that Northwestern makes the Big Ten tournament. Back to you.
Always a chance for Northwestern baseball. While one team seeks a conference tournament berth, the other ended up in their conference tournament. How did they do? Find out after the break.
Trying to work my way out of the prison system was the most difficult challenge of my life. It only became tangible once I became a Northwestern student.
One, two, three, four.
My relationship with Giannis is unique. We're from the same country, we're from the same city. Being a Northwestern alum, I think, has tremendous advantages in the sports industry. To me, that community, it's been with me for 20 plus years.
Welcome back on into Sports Night. Before the break, we chatted baseball Big Ten tournament possibilities, softball Big Ten tournament, Matt, going on as we speak.
In your home state, no less.
That's
Maryland.
true. Shout out Maryland. I'm about 40 minutes from College Park, so very exciting. If I was in the area, I would certainly be seeing some Big Ten softball.
Well, we can't go to that area yet. We still have some business to take care of in Rosemont at the end of the regular season. Go ahead.
Absolutely, we do. Last series of the regular season for Northwestern this past weekend. And their last one at the ballpark at Rosemont before Kirkpatrick Stadium is complete for next season. And Northwestern, they haven't dropped a game since early April. They are red hot. How are they going to stack up against Minnesota? Bottom of the fifth, Emma Ray pops it up to left field. Easy out for the Golden Gophers, but that does not matter. Grace Nito comes into home. Ray's sacrifice opens the door for her teammate. Cats will continue to control the inning. Bridget Donahue singles right up the middle, and Kansas Robinson blitzes home. Northwestern cruises 5-1 Game 1 victory. Now bases loaded, top of the first in game number 2. Signe Dose lines up the pitch here, but Kylan Stangnell wags it out of right field, and that clears the way for Casey Johnson to make it home. Northwestern trailing early in game 2 against the Gophers. Bottom of the 6th, and Ray smashes that one. It's up and away. Cats claw forward, but cannot complete the comeback Saturday night against Minnesota. Now to Sunday. Tight game, bottom of the 6th, but not for long. Kansas Robinson singles it out to right field. Gophers can't corral it, and Grace Minarovic, Kaylee Avasado get home and push the Cats' lead to 3. Same song, different batter. Izzy Kania hits it right past the mound, and while she gets on base, Donahue and Kelsey Nader round the bases and score. 6th inning total 6 runs for Northwestern Sunday night. The Wildcats show no mercy, winning the series 2-1 over the Golden Gophers.
Now, Sammy, we can go to your home state. It looks pretty gloomy yesterday morning, but ground school was on point. It looked like this by game time. Cats Nittany Lions in the Big Ten tournament quarterfinal. Let's go. This pass ball in the first inning puts 2 runners in scoring position for, oh, hey. That's Bridget Donahue in the box. Full count riser, right down the pipe, sent into right center field. That ball is gone ahead for Donahue. Thanks to Gabby Agozi for that one. 3-zip Northwestern early. And the very first batter of the very next inning, Izzy Cunha gets in on the fun. Pow! Ladies and gentlemen, playoff Izzy is a real thing. She always seems to come through when Northwestern needs it most. And she came through with a huge barrel in the second. Cats up 4-0 in the bottom of the second. Up big against Penn State? Never mind. Gabby Gradishar, a gargantuan blast, gobbled up by the gleaming College Park sky, and suddenly it's a tie game. 4-4 in the fourth. Next inning, folks, check this out. Marina Mason tosses her 5th ball in her last 6 pitches. So naturally, as a pitching coach, you want to come out, calm down your first-year arm. That's what Michelle Gascoigne does right here. Down 3-0. Probably tell her to get back in the zone, right? Grave mistake. Natalie Lido punishes a middle pitch, puts Penn State on top. Biggest swing of the season for the Nittany Lions NCAA tournament hopes, up 6-5 in the top of the fourth with victory in their grasp. And here's the dagger. Madison Seidel on a 2-0 count. Gets a pitch she likes, sends another fly ball out to center. Kaylee Avasado on the track at the wall, leaps, but can do nothing but watch it leave the yard, and with that goes Northwestern's chances at a Big Ten tournament title for a second straight year. The Cats bounced in the first round of the conference tournament, ultimately losing 11-5.
Northwestern losing 11-5, but Matt, it is a very interesting scenario for Northwestern. They were up big, and then things come crashing down. And Marina Mason, who has been so good all year for the Cats, she just struggled yesterday. 8 earned runs, a career high in her young career. What went wrong for Marina Mason yesterday?
Well, it all started in the regular season. Marina Mason locked down that #1 arm spot that Lauren Boyd had for much of last season, if not all of the 2025 season. But what comes with that is that as a Big Ten team, you're seeing the same arm in Game 1 and Game 3. So in the regular season matchup against Penn State, in that series, Marina Mason tossed 11 1/3 innings, struck out 15, and really used that rise ball and that changeup super well against the Nittany Lions for success. They only hit 176 off of her. But getting those reps, getting that kind of film, remember, a lot of these Big Ten teams get to use hack attack machines and copy spin rate. They get to copy pitch shape. And so in preparing for the Big Ten tournament quarterfinal, you know, hey, we're probably going to see Marina Mason again. Let's bet all of our chips. Let's bet the house that we're going to see her in the circle and bank on our preparation in seeing that pitch shape and seeing that spin rate carry us through. And that's what happened for Penn State. It took a little bit for the Nittany Lions to settle into a groove, but once they did and they started catching barrels, it was game over.
And for Northwestern's offense, Matt, it was the complete opposite. Really strong to start, 4 runs in those first 2 innings, and then they just went cold. What was the story for the NU offense yesterday?
It was just a lack of clutch hitting. There's no nice way to put it if you're Kate Drohan, Carol Drohan and company. Northwestern just didn't come through when it needed it to. In the 4th, 5th, and 6th, they had runners on, and the strikeout bug seemed to kill the Cats. They put together quality at-bats, but just couldn't put the pitches in play that they needed to put pitches in play. I remember back in the 4th inning with a runner in scoring position, Izzy Cunha struck out on a 3-2 riser right at the knees, and I could only imagine what Carol Drohan is thinking. That's not a pitch that you can take if you're a Northwestern batter. And that was the story of the game for the Cats. And that gives a team like Penn State, an underdog like Penn State, momentum in knowing that the Cats are vulnerable. Remember, Northwestern went off on the Nittany Lions in the regular season. One of the biggest scoring outputs we've ever seen from a Kate Drohan-led team in a Big Ten series. For the Cats to not cash in when it actually mattered the most, it throws you for a loop if you're a head coach, and there's nothing that you can really do about it as a head coach. It comes down to a lack of driving in runs, a lack of putting the ball in play. That's where the game was won in the margins. Penn State made solid contact with runners in scoring position. Northwestern did not.
And for Northwestern, a situation where yesterday, you get a few wins in the Big Ten tournament, you could see yourself sitting on the right side of the NCAA tournament. Selection show this Sunday. Matt, how does Northwestern's loss affect their odds?
Well, the NCAA committee looks at RPI as the golden goose of a lot of the selection, the at-large bids that go to the non-conference tournament. winners. And here's a look at this resume for Northwestern. A 1-12 record against the RPI top 25 doesn't bode well for the Cats. And their losses against Quad 2 teams, not too great as well. Add another one to that column. They're 6-6 after losing to Penn State last night, who ranked 73rd in RPI this week. Yes, their conference record is great, but when you lose to a team like DePaul in a midweek, when you lose to a team like Michigan, who hasn't lived up to expectation, especially blowing a 9-run lead in Game 3 of that series, when you lose to a team like Boston University, when you lose to a bubble team like Texas State, it draws a lot of questions if you're the committee. So Northwestern doesn't really control its own identity. It'll need an underdog team to win this Big Ten tournament, like what happened last season, which is still a possibility. It's still a possibility for the Cats. Maybe Penn State can go on that run like a Michigan did last season and somehow win it all. Don't know how it's going to happen, but never say never when it comes to this Big Ten softball tournament. It'll have to be a similar scenario this year for the Cats to sneak in.
The odds may be high, but never say never. As Matt said, thank you so much. And when we come back, Lakefront lacrosse back upon us, and Bryan Boanoh joins us to talk about it. Don't go anywhere.
My relationship with Giannis is unique. We're from the same country, we're from the same city. Being a Northwestern alum, I think, has tremendous advantages in the sports industry. To me, that community, it's been with me for 20 plus years.
Ready, set, Boanoh.
So, baseball trying to get into the Big Ten tournament, softball making a brief run in the Big Ten tournament, lacrosse won their Big Ten tournament. We're incrementally moving up the success ladder of the spring sports here at Northwestern.
That is right, Matt. How about lacrosse getting that #1 overall seed in the NCAA tournament? They were excited. Take a look.
The #1 seed.
Quite the coincidence that Northwestern gets the top seed in a year where it hosts the Final Four. Don't want to say too much, but the script is scripting, and somebody trying to crack that script is our own Bryan Boanoh, our NCAA tournament insider here at SportsNight, who joins us on desk. Bryan, thank you so much for joining us this evening. First question I want to ask you. Cats are the #1 seed overall, #1 in NCAA lacrosse. RPI. Does that mean that they're automatically the favorites to win this thing?
Well, Northwestern may be a #1 overall seed, but you can make a compelling argument for #2 team UNC as the favorites as well. Let's compare the two. Obviously, the first thing to look at is the loss column. 3 losses for Northwestern this season compared to just 1 for UNC. That's where the debate simply starts. You can get much deeper than that. Northwestern has played in 7 games this season that have been decided by 2 goals or less. The only time that happened to the Tar Heels was its OT matchup with Northwestern in Chapel Hill. While NU has signature wins on the season, like the Maryland victories, both of them, and the aforementioned victory against UNC, you can say that they're missing a dominant win where they were wire to wire, first quarter to fourth quarter, the better team as a truly top-tier opponent. Closest thing they have to that on their resume is a 16-12 win over Johns Hopkins. You look at both games against Michigan, for example, NU was down multiple times and didn't really pull away until late in the fourth quarter in both games. Against Maryland, a 7-4 OT lead ends up becoming a game that goes into overtime. Early in the season, you have the Ohio State game, which is a game that Northwestern was lost by 1 goal. Now, if you look at UNC in their ACC tournament run, and it's the exact opposite. Against Duke, they go into the fourth quarter already up by 7 goals. Syracuse is the team that Northwestern lost to this season. UNC beats them by 14 goals over 2 games this year. You get the sense that UNC is better at taking care of business, so to speak, than the Wildcats. They get into even more questions of which team has the best player, with Chloe Humphrey being the reigning Tewaaraton winner, but we all know how good Madison Taylor is. And again, UNC is ranked higher in scoring defense, but Jenica Cuoco is top 5 in the nation in safety percentage, so it might just balance out. All that is to say, Northwestern fans should not pencil in the Wildcats as champions just yet. They have the ability to do it and get it done, but the competition will be steep.
So the sentiment I'm getting from you is that Northwestern is not an untouchable. And as a number 1, Colorado, Syracuse, Ohio State all proved that to be the case in the regular season. Based on what you saw then, based on what you saw in the Big Ten tournament, what are the flaws that Northwestern has that can cause it some chaos in this May Madness we're about to embark on?
Well, I think the main flaws that Northwestern might run into are honestly its seeding. Even though that they're number 1 seed, I think that their region could be tougher for them than UNC's region will be for one main reason: the quality of defenses that NU will have to play in order to get out of the region. All 6 of the teams in NU's region are ranked in the top, allow less than 10 goals per game, and 3 of those teams are ranked in the top 10, including number 7 Notre Dame, number 2 Denver, and then number 1 Colorado Buffaloes. Colorado already gave Northwestern some problems early in the year, holding them to 9 goals in the game that the Cats lost. And the Cats will likely have to play them to punch its ticket to the Final Four if the region goes chalk. Michigan held Northwestern to 10 and 9 goals in their matchups this season as a number 20 ranked defense. And number 12 ranked Syracuse held Northwestern to 6 goals and forced 21 turnovers out of the Cats earlier in this year. Northwestern is one of the best offenses in the nation, don't get it twisted. But having to likely play two top 10 defenses before the semifinals even start isn't a favorable matchup for anybody.
So Big 12 can throw a lot of bumps at Northwestern in this regional. Enough with the pessimism, though. What are some positives, some optimistic things for Cats faithful to be looking at this tournament?
Well, I mentioned a bit at the start of the segment about how Northwestern gets itself into a lot of close games this year. And while UNC might be better at taking care of business, so to speak, tournament play isn't about taking care of business. It's about going into tough games and coming out on top. And this Northwestern team is more battle-tested than any other squad going into this NCAA tournament. And a lot of times in tournament play, this could go for really any sport, but regular season trends go out of the window, and you're really relying on the individual talent of your best players to get you out of tough situations. And Northwestern's players have been doing that all season long. You think of Jenica Cuoco's double save or Annabelle Child's last-second goal to capture that Big Ten title just a few weeks ago, or Taylor LaPointe's hat-trick to take down Stony Brook, or Madison Taylor's game winner in Chapel Hill in overtime earlier this season. There just truly isn't a situation they can put this team into that will rile them or make them uncomfortable, because they've been in all these situations before already this season, and they've shown that they can handle it. So oftentimes, the best quality a team can have in clutch time situations is experience, and Northwestern has that in spades, Matt.
Hopefully it carries them through. Bryan Boanoh, thank you very much for dropping that NCAA tournament, lacrosse tournament insight on us here at SportsNight.
Thanks for that.
Thanks so much to you guys. And following a strong showing at the Badger Challenge, let's take a look at the cross-country team, the women's cross-country and track team. They topped 2 events and broke 3 program records. Second-year Ava Kranidi won the women's 5,000-meter race with a time of 15:51, while first-year Carrie Drake proved triumphant in the women's 3,000-meter steeplechase title in 10:04. Drake broke her own program-setting record by 25 seconds. Upperclassman Sky Ellis in the 1500 and first-year Olivia Kapala in the 800 both set new program records as well. Ellis shaved off more than 2 seconds off her previous best to finish as a runner-up, and while Kapala cut half a second from her personal record to earn 4th, the women's team sets their sights on the Big Ten Outdoor Championships next weekend.
In the men's golf side of things, they competed at the Big Ten Championship in North Plains, Oregon over the weekend, and while UCLA dominated with a clean sweep of the events, Northwestern didn't do too shabby in its own right as it tied with Minnesota for 9th with a team score of 858. Senior Daniel Svard had a coming out party on Sunday with a big final round for the Wildcats of 5 under par 65, including 6 birdies, catapulted him past 37 competitors on the leaderboard and gave him a share of 14th place with the 6 under. Up next for David Inglis and co. is the NCAA Tournament Athens Regional, hosted by the University of Georgia.
And here is how you can catch the Cats this coming week.
On May 6th, baseball taking on Illinois in Urbana-Champaign.
May 10th, women's lacrosse NCAA tournament. You don't want to miss it.
And the very next day, women's golf in the NCAA tournament, a regional of their own.
And when we come back, you know what's coming up.
Plays of the week. Don't go anywhere.
I'm Kelly McEvers, founding host of the NPR podcast Embedded.
I'm James Edwards, host of the Unresolved podcast from Frontline.
I'm Antonia Cereijido, former senior producer of Anything for Selena podcast and current executive producer at Elias Studios.
My narrative, since I've been locked up and kind of made my transition, has been like redemption, accountability.
When I come into the classroom environment, every individual that sits amongst me takes education seriously.
My relationship with Giannis is unique. We're from the same country, we're from the same city. Being a Northwestern alum, I think, has tremendous advantages in the sports industry. To me, that community, it's been with me for 20 plus years.
Welcome back to Sports Night. Thank you so much for tuning in. Matt, we've had a fun show, but we're not done quite yet.
That is indeed correct. One final order of business to get through before we end things off in this Plays of the Week. Roll the tape. It's that time of the show yet again. Diamond Sport Takeover. Lots of action in that realm this week. Let's start on the larger diamond. Baseball here at number 3. Jack Lausch. What a hot bat. Crushing that fastball away over the right field fence. No doubt about it. Cats win 7-1. Jack Lausch 3 home runs in as many contests.
And at number 2, back to the diamond. NU down early against IU. Fast grounder up the middle. Tough one for Noah Ruiz, but he slides and makes the play. Ruiz gets the Hoosier runner in a pickle. NU gets a huge out in a run-saving effort for the second baseman.
Top play of the week. Give some softball some love. Going up against Minnesota, Justice Snippus. Sky's one in the left. Looks like it's going for extra bases.
Oh.
Nope. Izzy Kania, a heroic diving catch, holds the Gophers off and ends the inning.
Well, Matt, some fun plays and a very fun show. That just about wraps us up. Been a pleasure.
Yes, sir. It has been a pleasure. Always enjoy doing Sports Night, especially with you, Sammy. But can't wait to take the suit off Watch some Big Ten softball tonight, even if Northwestern's not in it. I still like to enjoy some softball.
Of course. Well, I'll be watching. Thank you to our entire team in the control room tonight, our spectacular analysts, and of course, all of you watching at home. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at NNN Sports and on Instagram at NNN_sports. For Matt Campbell, I'm Sammy Krimstein. Have a great night.